Anyway, hey guys, here is part 3 for What If Goku was Sukuna's reincarnation. So I hope you enjoy. We see now Goku and Kami leaving the hyperbolic time chamber after 2 years of training. Goku is a complete different person after this. He no longer is unintelligent. He got trained by Kami to have some sort of intelligence and knowledge. So I'd say now Goku is about average intelligence and knows normal things that a normal human at his age would know. And on top of this, Goku is now calm and collected. He's more able to manage himself and to just conduct himself in a more respectable manner. So this means that Goku is gonna have so much more control when managing Sukuna's power. But this did not come without its issues. At the beginning, Goku would get a bit wild and ferocious when trying to handle some of Sukuna's power. But now he managed to control it in low amounts. Since remember, Goku will definitely not be able to control all of it at this point. Since Sukuna, before he was killed, was at a level that was rivaling Beerus, as I said. And since he ate one finger, and there are 4 fingers in the universe right now, he has a quarter of that power that he can access. But due to the fact that that power is so high, Goku is no longer he's not even close to the level where he'll be able to handle that power. So at this moment, I'll say he's only able to handle about 1% of Sukuna's power without going wild. And the higher he tried, and at this moment, if he was to try access higher power, like 3%, it would be at the risk of losing his mind for a while and Sukuna potentially taking over. So just to keep it safe, Goku at this point only accesses 1% of Sukuna's power, which is still insanely high. Like, that's still a lot of power. But after this, we now see a changed Goku. So Master Gohan at this time actually was moving around and he met Bulma. So while Goku was up at the lookout, still learning with Kami, Goku would learn outside the time chamber for about another 2 to 4 years. So by the end of this, I would say he's about the same age as he was at the beginning of Dragon Ball, about 12 years old. So since Kami knew who Sukuna was after some research, he noticed that Sukuna was a Saiyan as well as a demon, which made him put 2 and 2 together and realize that Goku was a Saiyan. And by inquiring through the Dragon Balls, he learned that the properties of a Saiyan are that when there's a full moon, that Goku will enter a great ape transformation, an Ozaru, which would be very dangerous. Since Goku has no mental control in this form, it makes it easy for Sukuna to take over. And if he does take over, Sukuna would be able to access even more of his power than when Goku's normal. So since Goku would be in a berserk state, Sukuna could even access something like 10% or 5% of his power, bringing him on a level that's comparable to Frieza at this point, or even above that, which no one would want to risk. So Kami makes sure to he has 2 different options. He'll either chop off Goku's tail, but then he also knows that this is a source of power for the Saiyans. And one of his goals is to make sure Goku is as powerful as possible. So he can't risk this. He instead wishes on the Dragon Balls to have Goku be able to fully control his Ozaru state. And Shannon says it is done. So, meanwhile into this, Gohan meets Bulma, and instead of Goku traveling with Bulma, it's Gohan in this scenario, and everything goes as normal until Goku decides he's bored and wants to meet his grandpa for the first time in 3 years. So that has been quite a while. So Goku then goes to where Gohan is at the moment, and he finds that Goku is visiting his old master, Master Roshi. So after this, Goku meets Gohan and Master Roshi, and he's intrigued by Roshi's Kamehameha wave. So Goku is intrigued by this technique and tries it on himself. And Goku's Kamehameha wave is much stronger than even Roshi's, since Goku's power level is higher than Roshi's after all. Goku, after all these 4 years of training, is at a power level of 700, making him much more powerful than expected. So, after this, Goku trains under Roshi for a bit, learning the skills of martial arts, something that Kami did not know enough of to teach Goku. And Goku becomes quite adept at martial arts, and he becomes the total school's best student, to be frank. And Krillin comes, and Goku makes friends with Krillin. So since Goku and Krillin were training together, and Master Roshi was part of that, everyone's power level increases to a good degree. Krillin's at about 300, Roshi's at about 200, and overall everyone's stronger than before. Even Yamcha's at a good 220. So after this, I would say that things go decently peaceful for a bit until they stumble into the Red Ribbon Army. Oh, and by the way, Pilaf isn't that relevant. He's basically just a gag character since Piccolo's dead now, so there's nothing about that. So, the Red Ribbon Army stumbled upon a strange egg, and as they looked inside, as they saw the egg cracking, they saw a strange looking creature inside. Dr. Giro noticed it, and his soldiers, worried about what it was, tried shooting at it. But this creature, straight from an egg, as a matter of fact, managed to destroy most of the soldiers. Like it was no competition, like it was crazy. What happened was, for the 200 soldiers that were there, only 20 were left living due to the havoc that this Piccolo Jr. caused. And remember, this Piccolo Jr. doesn't have that much good in him anymore, since he has been tainted by the energy of Sukuna. He still has the capacity for good. I won't say it's completely erased. So he's still better than Demon King Piccolo in terms of pureness of heart. But due to the energy of Sukuna influencing him, he has a bloodlust that cannot be controlled at this moment. So the remaining 40 soldiers manage to catch Piccolo by surprise, and they shoot the back of his head. And remember, Dragon Ball logic is weird. So like Goku, even though he was at a power level, he was at the point of Super Saiyan Blue, got bruised by a gun when he was off guard. So it's not much of a stretch to say that Piccolo would get knocked out from a bullet, in my opinion. So after this, Jiro looks at this Namekian child, and he gets a great idea. He takes the child in, and he's gonna use this child for scientific research, making sure that the Red Ribbon Army is unstoppable. This is the origin of the new android he decides to call Android 24. The reason he doesn't give it any other names is he planned the other androids from 1 to 21. And due to the fact that this specimen was a cut above the rest, he could not simply give it a 22. No, this android was next level. That is why he was called Android 24. So after this, we will not see much of Piccolo for a while. Gohan and Krillin, instead of Goku this time, destroy the Red Ribbon Army. Jiro still has the same motivations as originally, due to the fact that he now saw how they killed his son. And due to this, Jiro has a vendetta against the Z fighters. And even though it's not Goku specifically, Android 24 hates Goku, and Jiro hates the Z fighters, so they have a common goal. So when For a while, we will not hear much about them. But now we go back to Goku, and we see what he's been up to so far. Goku trained with the Z fighters, and everything was going on quite decently. There was nothing out of the ordinary, and I would say that there's a time skip for a few years. Goku's about 16, and in this scenario, fighters are drawn to Sukuna's energy in space. In space, it has become it has become a mission of a few warriors to try and find Sukuna's fingers and to resurrect the king of demons. This search brings a few warriors to the planet. But these warriors are younger than usual, therefore they won't be as strong. The warriors I'm talking about is Bojack and his crew. By the way, just to note, I have not watched that movie, so be a bit lenient with me. So, okay, back to the story. So, Bojack and his crew stumble upon planet Earth, and they look and say, "We have detected some interesting readings from this planet. There must be a finger of Sukuna here." So, at this moment, they had been frustrated by the fact that they could not even find one finger of Sukuna. So, when Goku is about 16, this is when this happens. They come upon Goku, and they say, "I know you have it, boy. Where is Sukuna's finger?" To which Goku says, "Sukuna's finger? What's that?" And they realize that this guy doesn't know what they're talking about. And then they say, "Sukuna's finger, you dummy. Everyone in the universe knows about it, at least anyone of relevance. Anyone who eats the finger of Sukuna gains some of his power. But on top of that, they become his vessel. So, since you don't know what the finger is, I'm assuming you have ingested it since you do have his power." And Goku says, "I may or may not have a demon called Sukuna inside my body, but that's for me to know and for you to think about." So Bojack says, well, we, as a matter of fact, have a way to extract that energy and take some from you. We haven't tested it, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna be taking you, boy, and you're gonna be the container we use to resurrect Sukuna." So Goku says, "No, I will not be part of such a foolish plan. Why do you even want to resurrect him anyway?" And Bojack says how he wants to become filled with Sukuna's power and to become all-powerful, and he and his crew want to become unstoppable. Well, Goku says, "Well, just know there's no way that's gonna happen, since I've already controlled he lies and says, "I've already controlled the power of this finger. So if you still want to test me, then come and try." But Bojack was ready for this. He had been through the entire galaxy, scavenging and fighting for power. So at this point, he believed he was more than enough to fight against Goku. So they got into a fierce battle. Bojack, due to the fact that he had more experience, was much stronger than usual. He was extremely powerful. And Goku was finding it hard to keep up. But at the end of the day, Goku was holding his own. Well, was until Bojack showed Goku something he stumbled upon while he was traveling through the universe. There was a planet I pillaged which had an interesting technique. They called it fusion. I think they were the Metamorans, I think. Well, I learned their technique and I used it against them to kill them. Then he called, I don't know the woman he was with, Zangia or something like that. I haven't watched the movie. But he called Zangia and they get into the fusion dance. Fusion ha. And what comes out, what results, is something that no one could have expected. The ground shakes as we see a new warrior come. A fusion between Bojack and his warrior, multiplying their powers together and creating a foe that Goku has never faced before. And on top of this, Bojack had transformed before this fusion, making his power even higher than what it was before. And now, Goku had no conceivable way of winning this battle. Or that's what they thought. But Goku said, this would have been funny if I didn't have my own transformation, as Goku then transforms into an Ikari state. Due to the fact that Shannon gave Goku the ability to control his Ozaru form, Goku was able to evolve it to states never seen before, bringing his Ozaru power to his base form, giving him the Ikari state. This was a boost in power without Goku ever having to risk losing his mind. Goku managing this power fully. And just when you thought that was enough, he then uses 2% of Sukuna's power and infuses it into the form, creating the demonic Ikari. Goku then gives a monstrous roar that can be heard throughout the mountains, throughout the skies, throughout the planet. This roar made oceans tremble in its wake. The power of Sukuna flowed through the planet, giving it a dark hue. This was just at 2%, and Sukuna's influence was felt throughout the planet. Fortune teller Baba could feel this from where she stayed, and she could feel the power of Sukuna, which made her tremble, thinking, if this demon is released, what could stop him? And even though Fortune teller Baba has already met Goku, and she feels confident that Goku will be able to restrain him at this moment, she just ponders on how long that will hold before Sukuna gains his full power back. So then, Goku versus Bojack begins. Goku versus Bojack is actually a more even fight than you would think, just because of the properties of fusion. But at the end of the day, Bojack's power was temporary, Sukuna's was everlasting. Meaning that once Bojack defused, it was only a matter of time before Bojack faced defeat. So, Bojack defused and begged for mercy, as he knew that this was the end for him. But Goku, still being pure of heart in essence, decided to let them go. And they managed to escape. But you'd think that that's where the story would end. Bojack goes into space and leaves everything peaceful. But Bojack had planned for this to an extent. He's not a simple-minded villain who just walks around and gets beaten up when his plans don't go according to how they're supposed to go. Bojack is an intelligent man, and instead, his machine did more than just sense for Sukuna's energy. It had the ability to collect it. As the Sukuna's energy, as I said, flowed throughout the planet, it got concentrated and collected into Bojack's machine. And Bojack feigned defeat and flew off into the universe. So, Bojack in space is moving around in triumph, even though he was beaten and battered. He felt no disappointment due to the fact that he had left with something very valuable. He had left with Sukuna's energy. And as he was flying away, thinking that his plan had been accomplished, something went wrong. Someone had stowed onto his ship and had stolen what belonged to him. And before Bojack could look around or try to pursue this invader, something unexpected happened. His machine, his ship was failing. His mind could not comprehend what was happening. He had gone through all that effort, all that struggle, just for his ship to fail. His air system started collapsing. He had now no way out. Him and his crew wondering what's happening. And just before they knew it, their ship was blown up with them inside. The invader giving an evil laugh and flying away into the depths of space. Who's this invader? No one knows at the moment. But that's for a later time to be explored. At the moment, we see Goku married with children. After a few more years, I would say now he's about 19. His child is about 1 year old. This is Gohan, of course, who had inherited a bit of, I wouldn't say he had inherited Sukuna's power, but he had inherited potential, since he does have the power of a Saiyan, of myth, and he does have the potential of a much stronger Goku. So that mixed together makes Gohan a very powerful fighter. And before I forget, one of the issues that Goku had is that he had no access to the flying Nimbus due to Sukuna's power. But on a matter of chance, something told him to scream out Nimbus. And instead of the flying Nimbus we know coming towards Goku, another dark cloud with evil energy came towards Goku. This being the Dark Nimbus from, I forgot where, I don't think it's canon, but I'm making it canon. This Dark Nimbus, being compelled to respond to Sukuna's evil, came towards Goku. So Goku simply reserved the normal Nimbus for his son and kept this Dark Nimbus for himself. So this is how Goku transported himself throughout time. I don't think it's that important, but it just adds to the story. So, after this, I would say, Raditz remembers what his parents told him and how they mattered about Kakarot having the power of Sukuna. And Raditz kept this to himself, as he knew that this could anger Vegeta and make him go crazy. So instead, he suggested earlier than in canon that they should go visit Goku and get more allies against Frieza. To which Vegeta agreed and told Raditz, go pick up your runt and bring him back here in one piece. You hear me? Or else you're dead. To which Raditz simply agreed and flew towards planet Earth. So now I'll cut it off here as we see Raditz approaching planet Earth to find his long lost brother. So I hope you enjoyed the long part. I hope it was enjoyable. I know I mixed a lot of new things in, but yeah. I wanted to give Goku a challenge, since, Goku, let's say in this scenario, has a lot of OP energy, and simple Dragon Ball villains won't be on his level. But I hope you enjoyed the premise so far, and yeah, have a good day. I'll see you later.